Hello there, my name is the Flying Rodent and this is my Let's Play of Skyrim on Legendary difficulty. I have one more thing to show you guys with regards to information from my Legendary difficulty playing strategy guide, and that is to make the Chim item set, which is basically what happens when you break the game. We've come a long way since the very beginning of our Let's Play, but I guess just to do a little recap, what did we do first? At the very beginning, we of course escaped Helvin, and then we went to Riverwood, we recruited Faendal, we went for a bit of a wander, ran to some bandit locations, got Conjuration to 25 and got the Apprentice Restoration perk. We then got our Flame Atronak and a few other spells from Dragon's Reach, which we used to plunder Bleak Falls Barrow. We then went for a bit of a wander around here to get the Bound Bow, fight some trolls, gain some skills, that sort of thing, and we also found our first good enchantment to disenchant, which was Damage Stamina, which we used to enchant weapons and make money with. We then made a few potions as per the sort of local ingredient lists that I'd put on the guide. So that pretty much covered. Oh, and then we also joined the College of Winterhold, did the first quest there, and completed the Book of Love quest in Riften, and that basically covered the early game. Then we worked our way up to Expert Conjuration, got Expert Conjuration spells, specifically conjured Dremora Lord. We pretty much used the Dremora Lord solely to clear Felglow Keep for us, because Dremora Lords are amazing. Very strong summon in comparison to everything else that you can get, and they're pretty simple. They just run at stuff and hit them very hard. We used our Dremora Lord to clear out Felglow Keep. We got Conjuration to close to 75. We killed our first dragon at Western Watchtower, mainly with the help of our Dremora Lord and a Storm Atronak. We then went back to Whiterun, recruited Lydia instead of Faendal. After that, we went to Windhelm and began some speech training at Redren Sadri, and completed that up to 50 in between going, visiting other locations and doing other quests. During the Mages Guild quest line, we visited the ruins of Mazalt, and we spent a considerable amount of time clearing that ruin out of all the Dwarven metal, which was mainly in an effort to max smithing. Then after that, we completed the College of Winterhold quest line. We got Twin Souls along the way. And then once we became Archmage, we started working towards the quests required to maximize crafting skills. So we went to Solstheim, and then there are three main things that we did on Solstheim. Two of them were towards the efforts of maxing crafting skills. The first thing is that we completed the Unearthed quest, which was to basically unearth Colbjorn Barrow with the help of our now follower, Rallis Sedaris. And the reason why we did that is because at the bottom of those ruins are the Azidal artifacts, which fortify enchanting skill. And the other thing that we did on Solstheim, the other main thing we did, is we went and found the Black Book Sallow Regent, which is this book here. And what this book does is it boosts either combat magic or stealth skill magnitudes by 10%, which includes enchanting, smithing, and alchemy, depending on the power that you select. So they were the main reasons for travelling to Solstheim. And then in the midst of all that, just to go back to our map, we began to use what I call the travelling salesman routes. So the travelling salesman routes are their routes around Skyrim, hopping between towns and visiting various merchants that are open at specific times of day that you can kind of follow. Merchant inventories reset every 48 in-game hours, so I have a 72-hour route to account for discrepancies, basically, that takes you from Falkreath to Riverwood, then to Whiterun, then to Riften, then to Windhelm, then to Winterhold at night to purchase soul gems from the gem merchants there, because it's best to try and converse with them at night because they're all in the same place and the shops are open 24 hours a day. Then you go to Dawnstar, then to Solitude, and then all the way back down to Falkreath. So that was the first travelling salesman route that we used to get smithing and enchanting ingredients, and along that route, the very first time we did it, we managed to find a banished Daedra weapon in Dawnstar. We then disenchanted that, and from then on out, our money issues were basically non-existent, because banished Daedra weapons sell for about 600 to 800 a pop, depending on what your enchanting skill is. So yeah, we then basically used that money to pay for alchemy training in Whiterun, and also used we also made an awful lot of Banished Deidre daggers, and we used that as our method to grind enchanting to 100. So once we did that, we then went and received a lot more alchemy training from Arcadia and Whiterun, and then when the time came, we took the extra effect perk and we went back to Solstheim, made sure that we got the Seeker of Sorcery, which is our enchanted boosting effect, along with our Azadal set, and we made our first set of crafted items. And they boosted alchemy mainly. We only needed them to boost alchemy for the purposes of what we needed to achieve in this guide for our first set. So we made that, and then we used that to max out alchemy by making a bunch of potions, and then we used those to create the second and third final crafted sets. Then we went back to Solstheim, used our final crafted set to craft some Fortify smithing potions, and then we came back to the mainland and used our giant pile of dwarven metal that we had sitting around from what we collected and resolved earlier to mass produce a boatload of 70 dwarven bows and improve them, which is not actually that many in the grand scheme of things. All in all, it took us, with preparation, under 5 minutes to go from 30 to 100 smithing. So if you have all of the pieces in place, you can do it in a very, very, very short amount of time. I'm sure there are people that have speed run it in, a minute something or whatever. But at least for the purposes of this guide, we managed to get it done very quickly. So once we got that done, we started searching for materials to make our late game item sets, because we did cover 8 distinct late game item sets in this guide. So because I've actually put one of them at home, we might go back home to Whiterun. And in the midst of all this, we also purchased Breeze Home to put all of our equipment in, because we discovered that if you leave equipment in containers for more than 10 in-game days out in public and you don't visit the sector, then they get deleted. So in the guide, I did mention you can use these barrels in Whiterun to store materials, but if you don't come back to town for 10 days, then it all just turns back into what was in the barrels to begin with. So to avoid any complications there, we decided to purchase Breeze Home and put all of our materials in here. And we basically used some containers in here to mimic the containers outside. So this was our crafted, our artifact and crafted weapons sack. This was our artifact and crafted apparel sack. This is our smithing and enchanting crafted materials cupboard that we used to store all of our ingredients. We've still got some dwarven metal ingots left over from when we were grinding our 70 bows. And then over here we have our alchemy ingredients chest, where we've stored all our alchemy ingredients. So after doing a few loops of the traveling salesman route, once again we managed to collect enough materials to make all of our crafted item sets. So what are they? Well, have I put the others in here? I do have one more crafted set, and I'm hoping I remember where I put it now. Yeah, I can't remember where I put the last crafted set. Oops-a-daisy. Yeah, I had a Deathknight set. What did I do with it? Did I put it in the room? Maybe I put it in the room. Let's go check the room. No. So this is the mid-game set of items that we made and used before we got to our crafted items. So these are the mid-game. These are basically what we made as soon as we got enchanting to 100. So we have mid-game boots, mid-game gloves, mid-game ring, and then we use that in conjunction with these mage items. But we also had some. Oh yeah, and there's Lydia, who now lives at my house as I'm using another follower. Sorry, Lydia. Yeah, not quite sure what I did with the old Deathknight set. I had a Deathknight set, and I can't remember where I put it. But anyway, the Deathknight set was one of the optional crafted sets that I decided to use, and I used it in the last video to clear Bethamsed in order to get Spellbreaker. So I'm quite surprised that I've forgotten where I've put it. Anyway, it will be revealed in the video last time that we went through. Maybe I put it in here or something. No, okay. I've just completely forgotten where I put my armor set. That's kind of unfortunate. Oops-a-daisy. Yeah, anyway, that was one of the item sets we made. So the other item sets that we made, let's just talk about the item set, shall we? The first set of item sets that we made were the recommended item sets outlined in Chapter 8.2, which are the Hellfire set, which is kind of complements the playstyle that we used up until this point, which is mainly Destruction, Conjuration, Restoration focused, and a little bit of Archery. So Destruction spells cost nothing, Restoration and Conjuration spells cost 70%. There's a bit of frost and fire resistance there as well. Basically, this set is designed for if you wanted to play in a similar fashion to now. You summon stuff and then you take shots at the back from using a bow, which we have here. And then the second set that we made actually is only 3 items, which is the Helper set. And the Helper set is basically a support item set, and it just removes half the Helper set, half the Hellfire set, and replaces it with Illusion, Restoration, Cost Reduction items. So this is what you would use if you wanted to use Restoration spells and 100% effectiveness, as well as Illusion Magic if you wanted to use things like Crowd Control. One thing that we didn't get around to in this playthrough is maxing out Illusion to 100 and finding the Mayhem spell. If you find that spell, and then you get all of the perks associated with boosting the frenzy effects, that can be a really, really fun spell to use. You can just like run into a cave and then plonk it down and then just like run through the cave as everybody in the cave is fighting each other, because it's got an absurd radius, like, 250 feet or something in all directions. So that's an amazingly fun spell to use, but we didn't get around to doing that in this guide. The final set that we made is the Hitman set, which is basically the Glass Cannon physical damage set, and that fortifies mainly archery and one-handed. So if you wanted to do maximum physical damage at the cost of, spellcasting ability and magic resistance, then you would use this set here. So the idea behind these 3 sets is that you make them and you carry them all simultaneously, because we're using Elven armor and it weighs next to nothing. So even though the inventory is a bit clogged, this whole collection of items on your screen right now weigh about 20 pounds, so next to nothing at all. So we did that, and then we decided to make some auxiliary item sets. So what were the auxiliary item sets that we decided to make? Well, the first was the Bulwark set, which is basically the super tank set. So that's an Elven set of items, and also uses the Hellfire boots in conjunction with the Spellbreaker shield down here. And this is basically, if you absolutely wanted to physical and magic damage tank on legendary difficulty, this is the set you would use. You're going to be hard pressed to come up with a more defensive set than this one. So yeah, I think, I did reduce. For some reason, I put destruction on the helmet. I feel like that's an error. I feel like that's meant to be restoration. I think it's meant to have 100% restoration cost reduction, and that's meant to be restoration cost reduction. So I hope that that's not a typo on the original guide, because I feel like that is meant to be restoration. Yeah, it is meant to be restoration. I just put the wrong effect on it. But anyway, so the idea behind this set is that you have 100% restoration cost reduction, so you can heal yourself as much as you want, and you just basically use the Spellbreaker shield to tank and shield bash things. If you bother to take all the block perks, which again we haven't bothered to do, then you can power bash and deadly bash enemies as well, and you can just stun long them up with your shield while you're healing yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory set. If you want it to be completely immune to magic, then you can complete the Dragonborn questline, and then you could replace the armor and the gauntlets with Mirax robes and Mirax gauntlets, and then get the Atronax stone sign, which is something else we didn't bother to do, and that will allow you to get 100% spell absorption and be completely immune to magic. So you can do that as well, at the cost of physical damage resistance, obviously. So that's the Bulwark set. The Deathknight set, which we can't remember where we put, was a heavy armor / two-hander set. With a Warhammer, and so that set was basically, I'm actually quite annoyed that I can't remember where I put it. I'm going to go back to my second last video after this and figure out where I put those frickin' items, and it's going to stare me in the face. Anyway, so yeah, the Deathknight set, the point of the Deathknight set was to... It actually is pissing me off that I can't remember where these items are. Anyway, so yeah, the Deathknight set is a heavy armor set with a Warhammer. So that's like if you want to adopt a completely novel playstyle, you can use the Deathknight set, and that's basically just heavy armor, destruction reduction to 100, and a two-handed weapon. And So if you wanted to become a two-handed, heavily armored barbarian, you can choose to do that, which is a complete 180 of the playstyle that we've been using so far in this guide. And then finally, you know what? Maybe I stored it back on Solstheim in Severin Manor. That's something I could have done. Anyway, whatever. All right, and then one of the other sets we made was the Infiltrator set. So the Infiltrator set is that's meant to be for like super sneakiness. So we won't demonstrate what that set does in this guide, but suffice to say, it is the Helper armor and the Hitman helmet alongside all of these items here, and basically it's 4 Fortify Sneak and Fortify Pickpocketing items all in the same set. So this is your ultimate. If I wanted to be a pure thief with the most magical enhancement possible on my equipment, this is the set that you would use. And so in theory, this set would make it obscenely easy to pickpocket and sneak people. So there's that set, and then we have one final set left to talk about, and that is the Chim set. So what is the Chim set? So this is basically, the one glitch that of course is as old as time in Skyrim is the Fortify Restoration glitch. So what is the Fortify Restoration glitch? The Fortify Restoration glitch, it's not really a glitch, it's just a mechanic. It's just like, one of these positive feedback loop mechanics that Bethesda didn't bother to address in their game properly. There's similar mechanics in Morrowind and Oblivion, but they're just in different components of the game. So in Morrowind, there was a positive feedback loop mechanic where intelligence, the attribute, there's no attributes in this game other than health, magicka, and stamina, but back in the world of Morrowind, as well as health, magicka, and at the time fatigue, you had 8 attributes. You had strength, intelligence, willpower, agility, endurance, speed, personality, and luck. And they all affect different things as well. Those carried over to Oblivion, and your intelligence score affected the quality of your potions that you made in alchemy, and that could be boosted to infinite levels. So you would quite literally make a Fortify Intelligence potion, drink it, make another Fortify Intelligence potion, drink that, and then you would just like feedback loop that out of control until you had potions that lasted, several in-game years and broke all of your weapons after swinging them once. So yeah, you could do that in Morrowind. That was a way you could positive feedback loop yourself into the stratosphere. Then in Oblivion, it was a little bit harder to use positive feedback loops, but it still was possible. The way that my build that I've advertised in my guide, link in the description to the Oblivion max difficulty build that I made, the way that I used that in that build was through destruction and restoration. So alchemy had a bit more of a dampener on it in Oblivion. They got rid of that mechanic, but they did have weakness to magicka effects, and they also had fortify magicka effects and a magicka regeneration mechanic where your total magicka affected the rate at which your magicka regenerated. So with destruction, you could cast weakness spells on a target and amplify the damage exponentially. So you could continue, and you could chain them together. So you could cast like 2 different types of weakness spells on a target, and they'd be 100% weak, and then they'd be 400% weak, and then they'd be 700% weak, and then it would keep spiraling out of control. I can't remember the exact numbers. I think it followed some version of a Fibonacci sequence, but at an exponential rate. So you could, you could do several thousand damage to an enemy, with one fairly ordinary spell if you just chain these weakness spells together and then shot a fireball at them or something. So that was one way it happened, and then the other way it happened in Oblivion is that you could fortify intelligence and willpower to the point where the rate at which you were casting the Fortify Intelligence or Willpower spells actually cost you no magicka. So it was a very laborious process, but you could basically cast like a bunch of prep spells, and then your magicka would be effectively infinite for all terms and purposes, and it would sustain itself. And then so after casting this giant prep, you could then spend, a good 100 seconds casting the most ridiculous spells you could think of in the game and running at, several hundred kilometers an hour. So, not as insane as Morrowind, but a positive feedback loop type in Oblivion as well. But in Skyrim, the positive feedback loop returns to Morrowind levels with a vengeance through the Fortify Restoration trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to find, first of all, we're going to check our chest for Fortify Restoration ingredients. So we have Abesian Longfin, and then we have Cyrodiilic Spade Tail. And to be honest, this might be enough for everything that we need to do. But what we also want to do... you know what? We We didn't save enough ingredients to make any fortify enchanting potions. That was a bit of a boo-boo. Yeah, because we kind of want to make some fortify enchanting and fortify smithing potions after we've done the fortify restoration malarkey. That's a bit annoying. So we might have to go actually out of our way to find more fortify enchanting ingredients again. But we'll see. Actually, you know what? We'll just make a bunch of fortify restoration potions and use the ones that we currently have in our inventory because it has pretty much the same effect. You just have to drink the fortify restoration thing and then make the enchanted item, and then it's the same thing. You just have to drink 2 potions back to back. So yeah, we'll see if we can get away with it with what we have. But in theory, the glitch is that you make a fortify, or the trick is that you equip your alchemy gear, you create a fortify restoration potion, you then drink it, then you re-equip your alchemy gear, and then you repeat the cycle, and then you're done with enough cycles, you make fortify enchanting potions of stupidly high proportion, of stupidly high strength rather. So yeah, I don't know whether or not we've got any fortify enchanting ingredients. That's really sad. I think we might have to should have thought of that before I bashed out the previous set. Anyway, we'll see actually if we can just get away with it with what we have, because it's we can probably make it work in another capacity. Anyway, we won't actually bother to make the whole set either. You can make the whole set. It's advertised in the guide. You know, it's all the stats are ridiculously out of proportion. All we're going to do is we're going to try and make a bow out of it. I think that should. We're going to make a bow and then a fortify archery item out of it, and that should probably be enough to demonstrate what the Chim set is capable of doing. So to do that, we need to make a bow, and then we need a ring to enchant. So here's a ring, and we'll go and get a bow. We'll go and make a bow. We'll make a dragon bone bow, because that's what I used in the guide. We'll take a couple of soul gems with us because we're about to enchant those. Actually, you know, we don't even need to enchant our bow. We actually don't need to enchant our bow. We only need one for the ring. And then we'll take some leather strips as well. We only need to make the bow. We're just going to make the bow. We're not going to enchant it. We're not going to improve it rather just yet because.
Your shield, dwarf make, is it not? Yet it seems so much.
All right. Yeah, if we had more time, if I could be bothered more than anything, we would make the whole set just to prove a point. But we really don't need to. What do I need for the bow? What am I missing? Ebony. Of course, I'm missing ebony. All right.
Got some good pieces out here if you're looking to buy. More?
Yeah, so we'll just make one. We'll make 2 items that I advertised from the set just to illustrate how you can break the game, because that's all we're trying to do here. We're not trying to spend half an hour making a set just to illustrate, you know, to the extent to which you can break the game. We just need to illustrate that it's possible. Alright, so let's make ourselves a bow. So we go to dragon. Now we can make our dragon bone bow. We're not going to improve it just yet, for reasons that I will reveal soon. So now we need basically an alchemy and an enchanting table. We'll make some fortify smithing items as well, just in case this works the way I assume it will. So we'll take some blisterwort and some glowing mushroom with us as well. But the main thing we want to make are fortify restoration potions. Alright, up to the keep. So up in Dragon's Reach. Actually, you know, we could do this all on Severin Manor, couldn't we? Because we have all of the crafting ingredients on Severin Manor. So assuming that we have everything that we need to then... We just need to sharpen our bow, which means we need an extra dragon bone, which we have. Good. Okay. We can probably do everything on Solstheim in our new funky manor and get used to making everything in our manor with all our crafting stuff. So let's go and do that, eh? We'll make our final dumb item on Solstheim.
Talk to Captain Garland if you're looking to book passage.
All right. So yeah, I said I think in a video in past that that would be the last time we visited Solstheim. I was wrong. We're going to visit this place one more time just to make use of all the crafting equipment in Severin Manor, because at least it's all in one spot then, and we don't have to run between different crafting stations in the process of doing all this. You can do this in Whiterun, of course. We're just going to illustrate the beauty of having all your crafted stuff in one spot right here. All right. I guess the first question is, did I dump my Deathknight stuff in here and forgot about it? That's a thing I could have done. Whatever. Let's just make the stuff. So, the Fortify Restoration glitch. What is the Fortify Restoration glitch? Alright, so step 1 is equip all of your alchemy boosting gear. So we're going to save, because this is a bona fide way to break the game, which is we're advertising exploits. So we're going to save so that once the game is broken, you can hypothetically reload it if you want. So we're going to start off by equipping our alchemy boosting gear, which is all this lot here, and then we are going to walk over to our alchemy lab. We're not even going to bother, wondering if we have Seeker of Shadows on or whatever, because it's really not that meaningful. The guide, the items that I made in the guide, I managed to achieve through 4 iterations of this loop. So maybe because we can't make Fortify Enchanting Potions, we might do 5 and see where we end up. Let's try that. Alright, so 1 Fortify Restoration Potion. So then you drink the potion, and that fortifies all effects that you have that are affected by restoration, which includes your crafting gear. So now you re-equip it, and it jumps from 35% bonus to 85% bonus. You then proceed to make another Fortify Restoration Potion. Then you quit, and then you drink this potion, which is even stronger now. This potion is at 646% effectiveness. So you drink this one, and then you re-equip your apparel, and now it is 261% effective. You can see how this spirals out of control quite quickly. Let's make another potion. Alright, and then we get out of here, and then we drink this potion. And now our stuff is 1,830% effective, and then we drink another. Then we make another potion, and this time is 232,000 more percent effective. So yeah, we've officially hit dumb numbers, but we're actually going to go one more level above this because I'm not confident that we yeah, there we go. Now we're in the 5-digit figures, and we're actually going to go one level further into the 6-digit figures, and then we're going to use the rest of our potions to make Fortify Restoration Potions and hope that fortifies our stuff to prove our point, which it should. So one more time. And yeah, there we go. I think that'll definitely prove the point. So we drink one of these. Like so, and then you re-equip all your apparel again, and then we're going to use that to make even more. So yeah, and then we tried to make our 6th rendition of that potion, and the game crashed. So maybe we'll stick with 5. Alright, let's try that all again. Yeah, so as I was saying, quite literally game breaking. We broke the game and it crashed. Probably because the numbers for that particular potion were so silly that the game had no idea how to compute them. Yeah, there is actually, yes, so there's a fine art to getting the right number of these loops so that you can break the game and make game-breaking items, but not actually break the game to the point where it crashes. But anyway, we'll try where we got up to this time, and then we won't go beyond 5. I think it was loop number 6 was a bit too much, so we'll stick with 5 loops. That's 2 loops now. Then you drink the potion, and you re-equip your stuff. You can make new stuff if you really wanted, but you can get the exact same effect just re-equipping the stuff that you already own. There are guides out there that say that you use your restoration potion to make, fortify enchanting set, and then you make a brand new set that fortifies alchemy, and then use that to make the potion. But again, you can achieve the exact same effect just drinking a potion and then re-equipping the stuff that you already have. You don't need to make new things. Alright, and I think this was the level where it started getting dumb, so I think now we're going to fortify... We're going to fortify restoration. We're going to make a few of them. Good, that should be enough to prove our point. And then we're going to make a silly bow. So let's go over here and sharpen our silly bow up. So to sharpen our silly bow up, let's save again in case it crashes, because we crashed the game last time. We're then going to drink one of our Fortify Restoration Potions, and then we're going to drink one of our Fortify Smithing Potions, because now our... let's see if that has the same desired effect. Oh, anyway, it certainly improves these. So if it doesn't improve the potion, it improves these. So now we're gonna sharpen our little bow up to deal. There we go. It'll be worth -4. It'll be worth a stupid number. I don't actually know whether or not we get the damage figures that I was hoping though. Yeah, so what they did, I think, to curb the stupidity of this particular exploit is they actually curbed the maximum damage that you can put on these items. I think. But yeah, we can easily rectify that by just making an item that fortifies archery, and then hopefully achieve the effects that we're after. So then we're going to go over here and we're going to drink another potion. Like so. Wrong potion. We're going to drink that one, and then we're going to drink that, and then we're going to check and see if that has the desired effect. So if we go to Fortify Enchanting now, oh, it's only 45%. It's only 40% stronger. I wonder yeah. So maybe you do need to make Fortify Enchanting potions with it. Maybe it doesn't amplify these effects too much. That's sad. Yeah. All right. So I need to I will need to make a brand new Fortify Enchanting Potion in order for this to work. We have our snowberries, so all we need is just need some ash spawn. So I'll go and find some ash spawn, and then we'll get this to work. We will get our dumb bow with negative damage figures in one way or the other. Alright, wait a couple of hours. Alright, come on, alchemy lady. Let's go.
Destroying the ash spawn has... So you're interested in my potions and ingredients?
And we need spawn ash, which is there. Good, you got a couple of them. Sweet. Alright, so we can make a couple. That's good to know. So maybe, if we can't achieve the effect with one enchanted item, we can do it with 2 enchanted items. How does that sound? Alright. So yeah. We'll do a ring and a necklace. And in the very unlikely event that 1 isn't enough, we'll just make 2. So let's begin with... We drink our Fortify Restoration Potion of Stupidity, and then we re-equip all of our crafted stuff. Like so, and then we use that to make a Fortify Enchanting Potion of this silly magnitude. That should be enough, and then we do it again, and then we head on over to our cool enchanting altar, and then we drink. We'll just save in case we break the game. We drink one of our newfangled Fortify Enchanting Potions that does. It's now called Resist Fire, that does that much, and then we make ourselves a ring that fortifies archery, And this is the bit where I hope I brought my... Well, I've got 1 Grand Soul Gem. Yes, we did bring 1 Grand Soul Gem specifically for this purpose, didn't we? So we'll go with Silver Ring. And then we'll go to Fortify Archery. Alright, and guess what we did again? We crashed the game. Yeehaw! Alright, so maybe what we'll do is we'll do that not under the effect of the Fortify Restoration Potion, hey? So that it's slightly less magnitude. Alright, so now we drink our Fortify Restoration Potion, which is this one here. And we hope that we can create a Fortify Archery item without the game dying again. Ring, Fortify Archery. Alright, I am determined to make this bow. So what we'll do, again, is we might have to make our Fortify Enchanting Potion slightly less strong. So in order to do that, we might only equip one of our alchemy boosting items with our Fortify Restoration Potion there, and then we'll do it. We need our Potion Lady back, though. Hey, Potion Lady. Alright, do you have Ash Spawn? Or Spawn Ash?
So you're an alchemist, then?
Ash Spawn is the enemy, Spawn Ash is the ingredient. And you do. Good. Alright. Thank you. Alright, now we're going to save before we make the potion, and then we're going to go from there. Because it seems like we broke the game a little bit too hard. There's a certain limit to breaking the game. We did get the bow to be worth negative 32-bit limit, but unfortunately it doesn't do negative 32-bit limit damage, and that's kind of what we were after. But anyway, so we'll try this. We'll save again. This time here. And we'll drink our Fortify Restoration Potion, but this time we're only going to equip 1 Fortify Alchemy item, not all of them. So we're just going to equip the ring. There we go. Alright, so then we're going to use this to make a Fortify Restoration Potion. So if we go down, Fortify Enchanting. So now it's going to be that strong. Okay, that's a little bit more respectable. You know what? Let's try another item and see what happens. So if we equip 2 bits of apparel now, what happens? It must compound. It must be the items compound with each other. Yeah. Anyway, I think this is going to be enough damage to illustrate our point. So we'll if we put another one on. We want to get it as close to the line as possible. We'll try that. We'll try that first. It's called Resist Fire, isn't it? Yeah. I think that'll be enough. You know what? That'll be enough for all terms and purposes. So we'll try that. Even if we don't hit the magical negative damage limit, the way that I did it is, I did 4 restoration loops and then I made a potion, and then I used that to make all the items in the guide. So if you follow the steps in the guide, you will get exactly what we did. We decided to skimp on that because we didn't think we would have Fortify Enchanting ingredients, and then we actually found Fortify Enchanting ingredients, and yada yada yada. Anyway. At least if we can make a weapon that illustrates our point, then that will be enough. So let's we're not saving here just in case this breaks again. We're now going to drink our Fortify Enchanting Potion, which is actually a Resist Fire Potion, and then we're going to make a Fortify Archery item. So we want a silver ring that does Fortify Archery, and hope it doesn't break the game. Yay, that'll do. Alright, good. Didn't break the game. Perfect. Alright, and we're going to rename you Chim Ring. Cool. Alright, and then that should be enough to prove our point. So if we put on the Chim Ring... Actually, we do have one of these. So I can enchant my funky bow to at least to, you know, at least have a name, even if it doesn't do much. So if I'd have a dragonbone bow, it actually doesn't matter what enchantment we stick on this. And then we use a common soul gem and we call it the Chim bow. Then at least it's named, eh? So yeah, in the guide this has different enchantments of it. This has like absorb health and absorb fatigue, you know, several hundreds of millions of points, and then you have armor that does, you know, fortifies all of these flat stats by stupid amounts. But the point is that if you equip these items, then you break the game. So now I have this bow, and it does negative 2,147,483,648 damage. What does that look like in practice? Let's go and find out. This would be a great time for a dragon attack. You know what? We actually want to find specifically a dragon and a dragon post, because that's probably that illustrates this weapon the most succinctly. So let's see if we can find a dragon. Alright, here's a dragon post. Let's see if there's a dragon over here. Cool, that looks like a dragon to me. Alright, and we have our dragon. So we're going to wait for it to fly in the air, and then we're going to illustrate just how dumb this item is. There we go. See you later. Congratulations, you beat Skyrim. Alright, and I think with that, with our semi-naked man taking out a dragon in one shot and it taking 15 seconds to die, we've illustrated our point. So yeah, I think that will be it for this Let's Play series, guys. It has been quite a ride. This has been the first time I've ever done a Let's Play series with audio commentary for any game. It's been an amazing learning experience. I do have a lot more respect for people that do this for a living now, because even without bothering to, you know, do much in the way of editing, this was still an awful lot of time and an awful lot of work. So my hats go off to the major slack attacks of the world who even in half-an-hour videos will bother to spend hours afterwards editing and putting video production in for the benefit of people online watching and consuming the content. So yeah, it's been an amazing ride, but I think the ride will stop here. We've illustrated everything that we want to with our character. Legendary Dude has officially reached his transition from early to mid to late game, and he got all of the skills that he needed, and he is now set up to plunder the land in whatever order he wants, or as I put at the end of my guide, he is now set to go and he's now set to explore and conquer all of the lands. So if you decide to make this build and you follow the steps through this Let's Play, hopefully there's enough information between the guide and this Let's Play to inform any decision that you have. So we will leave it there. It's been fun, guys. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.